Welcome to episode 4 of COVID Cooking, and today we're going to be cooking some baby back ribs. Okay, first of all, these are just a rack of baby back ribs that I had in the freezer, which is why they're wrapped up in this cling film. Buy about 4 or 5 racks at a time. You can get them from your local butcher, or I buy these from Costco actually, and put them in the freezer individually. They all come as a vacuum pack, but I take them out and wrap them individually so we can just choose one at a time. So this white skin, it's quite a thick membrane that's on the back here, so we're going to cut away at that and trim it, and I'll show you the best way to do that. Now this is a sort of really heavy duty paring knife, butcher's knife that I got. You need to be very careful with it, very sharp, but what we're going to do, one hand for the meat, one hand for the knife, and just try and get it underneath this skin if you can. Just make a few loose cuts. Now the idea is to try and pull this off in one motion, and I know I'm starting sort of 3 ribs in here, but it'll you'll see what I mean in a minute. Go for a bit that you kind of get a thickness on it at least, so that you can actually get your fingers onto the skin. Just be careful with your hand. Use a bit of kitchen towel, holding the ribs, and hopefully this membrane will come off. It's coming off in a couple of bits here, isn't it? Right, there we go. Right, so hold the ribs down and try and pull that off in one motion, and trust me, this will make such a difference to how the ribs cook, how the flavour gets to them, and how soft they'll be once it's all off. It's a pretty horrible job though, it's this only thing. It's not the most pleasant, but the paper towel will help you kind of catch it. There we go, that's a little bit off. So that's most of that bit off there. This is kind of some fat, that's fine. As long as you've got the skin bit, that's okay. I'll take away some of this. One wee final bit. And as I say, the paper towel just makes it easier to catch because it's too slippy in your hands if you don't. Okay. Just a carton of fresh orange, and what I tend to do is just pour it over the top of it until you kind of get it covered slightly. Until the base is pretty much covered. It takes on a little bit of flavour as well. Okay, so we'll leave that to soak for a while. What we're going to do in the meantime is make a barbecue sauce. Okay, we have now had our ribs marinating in orange juice for a while. I'm going to just put this on with a clean board. I'm going to lift my ribs out of the orange, and I'm just going to dry them. I'm going to discard the orange juice. from the pan. Give a pan a wee rinse. As I say, I would marinate them overnight. Today we don't really have the time to do that, but that was a couple of hours there. And what we'll do is just take some more kitchen paper. You just got to dry that liquid off of these. They need to be quite dry because of the rub. There's a dry rub we put on these. Board off. Right, so you could trim these a little bit if you want to take some of the fat off. I prefer to just leave it. You can trim the ends sometimes as well. People put a nice kind of line on them so that these little bits here don't kind of overcook or whatever, but I love them that much. I just leave it all in place so that you've got little bits to sort of chomp on later on, little bits of meat. But with that, I'll put that now and back into this cleaned out tray, rinsed out tray. Just again make sure that the board out of the way a minute. Clean that in a sec. Okay, so we've got our ribs dried off with kitchen paper. Quick wash of the hands. Okay, and the final part is adding the rub. Now, I've made dried rubs in the past, but I'm actually going to cheat today. I'm going to use this one, which is all the way from Texas. It's a place called Salt Lick, and they possibly do the best barbecue food I've ever tasted. It's pretty special. And Robert, my friend that lives in Texas, we shout out to him. Him and his wife Cara were over at Christmas, and this was one of my Christmas gifts from them. So very, very grateful. And I use it all the time. But what we'll do is the dry rub. This is, you can actually look up different ingredients about how to make these. This is just, the ingredients actually just said salt and spices, if you can see that. Salt and spices is all it says, so all it's given away. But there are a couple of recipes online. I've made some myself as well, and it's mostly kind of sugar, salt, pepper, bit of paprika, bit of oregano, or oregano as they call it in America. And all I'm trying to do here is try to get a kind of even amount, just keep it shaking the whole time, but an even amount of the rub right across the whole rack of ribs. That's not too bad. These wee bits at the side. Now, that might look like a lot, but the fat, it'll kind of cook that down, and then what we're going to do is later on we're going to add a barbecue sauce on the top of that, so it kind of gets rid of that sort of grainy way. You could cook them just completely like that with the seasoning, but that's going to go in the oven now for about 4 hours in total before we start actually putting on any sauces, and that just allows them to cook down. It's only going on at 100 degrees though, so very, very low. Fan assisted, you could even put it down maybe 80, because it does tend to kind of dry them out a wee bit. And just keep checking them every now and again. I've got a little spray bottle that I put in apple cider vinegar, and I just spray it every now and again as well, just to try and keep some of the moisture in there. But just uncovered at the moment, and just stick them in the oven, and yeah, we'll have a look in 4 hours time. Quick recipe on how to make barbecue sauce for the ribs. So cheating here because I'm reading this off the internet as well, but this is the one I used in the past. So I've already measured out a full cup of tomato ketchup, bung that in the pot. I've already measured out a half cup of apple cider vinegar. If you can't get apple cider vinegar, just use normal vinegar. Oh Christ, try to use that to rinse that out a wee bit there. Okay, so there's our ketchup in and our vinegar is in. There's about, it says about half of a fresh orange squeezed, but we had fresh orange in the fridge, so I'm adding a little bit of fresh orange in there. It says to add a teaspoon of paprika. This is smoked paprika, so that gives a kind of smoky flavour as well. A tablespoon of Worcester sauce, just quite a bit of Worcester sauce actually. It's got some liquid smoke. Now, saying 2 teaspoons of this. It is quite a strong flavour. You might not be able to get your hands on this, but I got this from, there's a Mexican deli on Great Western Road in Glasgow, and they sell it, but I think you might get it in quite a lot of supermarkets. 2 of these. It's a really strong flavour, but it actually does taste like smoked food. So 2 of them. Great smell actually, I love it. The last thing to add is sugar. Yeah, 4 tablespoons of sugar. That goes out as well. Okay. And the last thing you do is to stick it on, and you just combine all the ingredients. Saying that you can add garlic as well if you want. I'm going to probably put a spoon of our lazy garlic. And you can just bring it to the boil, and then you bubble it for about 3 to 4 minutes, and the should be us. Okay folks, we now have the ribs. They've been cooking for 4 hours. Our sauce is ready to go on. I ended up having to use another wee jar, which I just stuck in there because I knew it was going to go in here. Just rinsed that out and used it earlier. So we're just going to put our homemade barbecue sauce on top, which smells magic, very garlicky. So what I'm going to do is I'll use this one first. Pour that over. Then one of these little silicone brushes is ideal for this. Just brush it through on each bit. Now, one of the things you can see when you've actually cooked these, you're starting to see the bones coming through slightly. And that means that the meat's shrinking enough that it's probably going to be pretty soft and tender then. So that's a good way of seeing if they've actually cooked for long enough. Just making sure you get it right in all the corners, get everything covered. And this time we are going to cover them. So a little bit of tin foil. And then they go back in the oven again. Right, so while we're waiting on our ribs, just getting the sauce baking onto the outside of them, we're going to try something else as well here. So what we cut up earlier was a chicken, which is in another video, but from the chicken we actually got some wings. We had 2 different chickens, so we've got 4 wings, and I'm going to show you what I do with chicken wings. And these are just a wee extra snack. So what you need is a bowl, clean bowl, just stick in some flour just to coat the bottom of the bowl. We don't need too much. And you can season it quite simply with salt and pepper. But I've actually got this chicken wings rub, and this has got a couple of different bits and pieces in it. It's got black pepper, oregano, cumin, but all I'm going to do is just stick some into the flour. Shake that over. Just give that a bit of a stir around. So all you're doing is seasoning the flour. You add just salt and pepper to this as well, it'll be enough. And it is simple as placing the wings in, quicker just using your hands rather than a fork. So cover and flour both sides, covered, and then give them a wee pat. Get any excess off them. Next one. Now if you've ever been to a kind of American diner or whatever, or American type of place, and they do buffalo wings, this is exactly what these are. There's a place in Edinburgh just called Wings, which I love. Just put onto by one of my cousins, who was actually, he's a comedian. I shared his video yesterday actually. He's a comedian, he was over for the Edinburgh Festival and he discovered this place called Wings and he told me about it. And anytime he's in Edinburgh he loves it, and anytime I'm in Edinburgh I take photos if I'm in it and send him the photo by Facebook Messenger, and then he curses me because he hates me for it, because he misses it. And just in case you haven't seen the other video where I have kind of chopped up or butchered a chicken, what we have in this tray, it is 4 full wings, but we've actually got them, these 2 are cut in 2, so that is the same as that, but just cut. And because they're on the bone, I tend to cook them a little bit longer than I would for chicken breast. So a little bit sprinkled over the top as well. And then they are going to go into the oven for about 40 minutes at 180 degrees. Okay, so let's have a look at the ribs. We'll see how they're doing. So, lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm going to put a wee bit more sauce on that. So all we're really doing here is sort of basting them now in the sauce that we want. That sauce will keep in the fridge for about 2 weeks. You could put a label on it or whatever to show when you've made it. Put it back over again. So that was about 15 minutes from the first time. I'll put that in for about another 15 minutes or so. Okay. ribs are done. Last thing to do is cut them. So we try and hold them with a bit of paper, kitchen paper here. So if you turn them, you can actually see the bone, where the bones run through it. And you just want to take a wee sharp knife through them. You see what I mean about the kind of bone poking through the meat there? So that's what you're kind of looking for. Nice and tender. You're absolutely roasting. And there you have it. So here's our chicken wings. What I'm going to do is just flip them over. Just get the side up again. And the extra bit to add. Frank's red hot sauce.